A very good afternoon to all the students. So in the last session we have discussed the concept on the primality testing, where this particular we have a lot of algorithms which are used to check whether a given number is prime or not, right? So we have two types of primality testing. One is the deterministic algorithms and the second one is the probabilistic algorithms. As we have discussed that the deterministic algorithms are very much sure, it will give it will say whether the given number is prime or not, right? But probabilistic algorithms, they will tell the probability. That means there is a possibility of yes and there is a possibility of no also, right? So based upon this two types of primality testing algorithms, can anybody tell me what are the different algorithms that we have seen under this deterministic algorithm, deterministic primality testing?
Divisibility and AKS algorithms.
Super. The first one is the divisibility algorithm and the second one is the AKS algorithm, right? And after that, as we have discussed that these deterministic algorithms, they are not that much accurate when we consider the largest number. So we take a large number, then these tests does not give satisfactory results. For this purpose, we have moved to the concept of the probabilistic algorithms, where we have gone through the Fermat test. We have seen some examples, and similarly we have gone through the Miller-Rabin test, right? So do you remember the concept of Miller-Rabin test, or Rabin-Miller or Miller-Rabin? Anything is okay, right? So the algorithm is named after their inventors, Miller and Rabin. So you can pronounce it either as Miller-Rabin or Rabin-Miller. Anything is correct only. So do you remember the concept of Miller-Rabin? So what is the input to this Miller-Rabin? What input do you get for this Miller-Rabin test? What is this basically this Rabin-Miller test is used for? As we have discussed that this Rabin-Miller test is used to test whether a given number is prime or not. So the input to this Rabin-Miller test is nothing but a number. What will be the output? It will simply display whether the given number is prime or composite. So let us have a quick recap of this Miller-Rabin test. We are going to discuss two examples regarding this Miller-Rabin test, and then we will go to another primality testing algorithm, that is the recommended primality testing, right? So by that we'll put an end to our session by discussing these two concepts, examples on Rabin-Miller test and recommended primality testing, right? So let us have a quick recap of this Miller-Rabin test, where we will assume that the given number is n, and the first step is we will take n minus 1 and we write this n minus 1 value. Why? Because this is a odd number and this n minus 1 becomes even, and we take this n minus 1, or we factorize this n minus 1 to the powers of 2, right? So we will get something like 2 power k into m, where m is odd and k is the power, right? So this k value represents how many iterations the algorithm has to undergo. So if based upon this value of k, the algorithm iterates those many times, right? So it will iterate for k minus 1 times. Similarly, the second step is we have to choose a random value between this 1 and n minus 1. So this A we call it as the base. And then coming to the third step, we have to calculate a number A such that A power m, A B is congruent to A power m mod n. Right. So once we calculate this B, we have to check whether B is congruent to 1 mod n or not. So if this condition is satisfied, then we say that n is prime. Then what you have to do? So if this is satisfied, you just give 1 is prime. There is no need to go to the loops also. Otherwise, you have to enter into the loops for I is equal to 0 to k minus 1. As I told that the k represents the number of iterations. K decides how many iterations it has to go. So k minus 1 times the iterations has to go, and here what you will do is you have to check again the value of B. If B is equal to, is congruent, not is equal to, minus 1 mod n, we print the n is prime. Otherwise, we have to calculate a new value of B by making use of B square mod n. So this B is nothing but the value of B which we have calculated in the step 3. After this, if everything goes well, you will just return n is composite. Right. So this Rabin-Miller test is a very effective algorithm which is used to test whether a given number is prime or not. So this is the basically the algorithm how it is defined. We have gone through one example in the previous session also, and now we are continuing with the same concept. We'll take 2 more examples and we'll try to check whether these numbers are passing the primality test or not using the Miller-Rabin. Right. Let us take the second example. Does 61 passes the Rabin-Miller test or not? So according to Rabin-Miller test, first of all we have to find the n minus 1 value. So what is n minus 1 value? So n is 61, n minus 1 is 60. So how do we express this 60 in powers of 2 means 60 divided by 2 it is 30 and 2 it is 15, 0. So we are going to express this 60 as 2 square into 15, where this 15 becomes m and this power 2 becomes the value of k. So by looking at this particular value, you can simply understand that we are going to iterate the algorithm for k minus 1 times, that is 1 time. Right. And in the second step, we are going to take the value of A. As I told that this we consider it as the base. Let us take, we start our RM test by taking the base value as 2. Therefore, initially you have to calculate the value of B with this particular formula. B is congruent to A power m mod n, where A is taken as 2 and m is 15 and n is 61. So B is calculated as 2 power 15 mod 61. That will get the value as 11. Right. So in the last session we have clearly discussed how we can calculate the exponential powers, modular arithmetic or modular exponentiation. Everything is cleared in the last session. Right. So when you simplify this 2 power 15 mod 61, we'll get the remainder as 11. But according to Rabin-Miller test, it has to in order to identify or in order to declare that n is a prime number, the resultant remainder should be 1, but here I got 11. So I am not going to leave this one. So I am going to enter into the loop. So I take the value of k is equal to 1. I calculate b is equal to b square mod n, where b is the new value that is calculated. So I got here the b value as 11. I take 11 and 11 square mod 61, that is 121 mod 61. So it will be minus 1 mod 61. Right. So when we get the remainder as minus 1, if we are calculating the b value inside the loop, then you can simply declare that n is prime. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Right. So we'll take one more example on this Rabin-Miller test. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Right. So we'll check whether this 27 is prime or not using this Rabin-Miller test. Can anybody tell me whether 27 is prime or composite?
Composite, sir.
It is composite. So let us test whether this 27 is passing this Rabin-Miller test or not. So initially step 1 is I have to compute n minus 1. So 27, here my n value is 27, and when I compute this n minus 1, I will get it as 26. I express this 26 in terms of 2 power k into 1, right? It is nothing but 13 into 2 power 1. So this is the value of k, and how many times you have to iterate? K minus 1 times. So 1 minus 1, that is 0 times. So there is no need to go for the loops, right? And here the m value is 13, and I take the base value as a is equal to 2, and I calculate the value of b given by the formula. B is congruent to a power m mod n, that is equal to 2 power 13 mod 27, and I got the value as 11 mod 27. And the algorithm never enters into the loop. Why? Because the k value is only 1. So by this we can understand that n is a composite number. So the 27 passes the primality test, or 27 passes the Rabin-Miller test. So this is how the algorithm is defined, and this is how we are going to test the values of some numbers, or we'll take some numbers and we'll check whether they are prime or composite. So is it clear up to this point?
You are now unmuted.
Yes, sir.
Right. So we are going to discuss one more algorithm based on this primality test, and the probabilistic algorithm, right? One more probabilistic algorithm to check whether a given number is prime or not. That we call it as the recommended primality test. So when we discuss, or when we look into the concept of recommended primality testing, this is nothing but a combination of divisibility test and Rabin-Miller test, right? So it is a hybrid algorithm where they have combined the advantages of the divisibility test and the Rabin-Miller test. So what do you mean by the divisibility test? What do you mean by divisibility test? If you take n, we calculate root n, and we take all the primes that are less than root n, and if any of these number from this set is dividing this n, then we say that n is composite. Otherwise we say that n is prime. That is the concept of divisibility test, right? So first of all, we will go through the divisibility test. That means we take the value of n and we do some random divisibility tests on this n with some primes, and then if n passes all the tests, then we will again go and check it with another algorithm, which is the Rabin-Miller test, right? So we are not satisfied with the divisibility test. Even though we get good results with the divisibility test, we again go and check whether that n is going to pass the Rabin-Miller test or not. So here we have two refinements. One is with the divisibility test. Even though we have got the good result, or it is confirmed that it is a prime number or composite number, but in order to have the more efficient result, we are going to test the same number with the Rabin-Miller test, right? So here is the algorithm, how it is going defined. In step 1, we will choose an odd integer. Why he is asking us to choose an odd integer is, as we know that all even numbers are composite in nature, there is no doubt about it, but some prime numbers, some odd numbers are prime or they may be composite. So we are going to check whether a given number is prime or not. So we are going to take only the odd numbers. And in step 2, step 2 is nothing but the divisibility test. Here we are going to do some random divisibility tests on the given number n. So step 2 is defined as we have to perform some trivial divisibility tests on some unknown primes like 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 23, etc. Like that we will test the number for the primality using these simple prime numbers, what we know. If it passes, that means if the given number n passes all these tests, then we have to go to step 3, this one. Step 3 and step 4 is nothing but Rabin-Miller test. That's it. Right? Is it clear how this recommended primality testing is defined?
Yes, sir.
Right. So we will discuss one example on this recommended primality test. In this example, the value of n that is taken is 4033. By looking at this number, you are not confident, you cannot directly say that this 4033 is a prime or composite. So either you can go for the Rabin-Miller test or any other primality tests to check whether this given number is prime or composite. But as our discussion is the recommended primality test, let us check whether this 4033 is a prime or composite by taking the recommended primality testing algorithm. Right. So as the first step, as I told, that any number that is given to you, you have to check whether it is prime or not based on the random divisibility tests. So I take the value of n is equal to 4033 and I take the set of prime numbers which are less than 4033 or which are less than square root of 4033. Anything is okay, nothing wrong in it. So when I consider this one, 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 17 and 23, these are not the divisors of 4033. So if it is not the divisors of 4033, we can simply say that 4033 is a prime number. So if any of these prime number which are less than square root of 4033 exactly divides this n, that is 4033, then it is a composite. Since any of these number is not dividing this 4033, we say that 4033 is a prime. Right. And Hence we go for step 2. In step 2 we are going to perform the Rabin-Miller test with base 2. Right, I take the value of a is equal to 2. First of all, let us express this 4033 as 2 power k into m. Here the value of k is 6. Therefore, the entire algorithm has to iterate k minus 1 times, that is equal to 6 minus 1, that is equal to 5 times, where m is 63 and k is 6. So initially I calculate the value of b, which is given as b is equivalent congruent to a power m mod n, that is 2 power 63 mod 4033. So if you simplify this 2 power 63 mod 4033, we will get the value of 3521, which is not equal to 1. If it is equal to 1, then we can say that it is a prime number, but it is not equal to 1. Therefore, we will go to the loop. Initially, I take the value of k is equal to 1, first iteration, b is equal to b square mod n. As I told that you need to calculate a new value of b from the old value of b. So this is new value of b and this is old value of b. So I got the value of b as 3521. So I calculate 3521 whole square mod 4033, where I get it as minus 1 mod 4033. In the loop, if you calculate the new value of b and you get it as minus 1, then you can say that n is prime. Here also it is satisfied. So it is also passing the Rabin-Miller test. And now I am not satisfied with the result, right? So what I will do is I will take another value, another base, this one. So this base is nothing but a only. Previously I have taken the base value as a is equal to 2, but now I take the base value as 3. Now I start my calculations. So I calculate b, which is given as congruent of a power n mod n. So this time a value is 3, you can observe here, it is not 2. So 3 power 63 mod 4033, I get the value of b as 3551. So I enter into the loop and I calculate the new value of b, this one, with the old value of b, this one. So b is calculated as b square mod n, that is 3551 whole square mod 4033. I get the value as 2443. Similarly, if I take the value of k is equal to 2, I calculate the value of new b with the old b, which is 2443. I get the resultant as new b value as 3442. If k is equal to 3, I get the new value of b as 2443. If the k value is 4, I get the new value as 3442. And finally, the last iteration, k is equal to 5, gives the result as 2443. So this concludes the check whether this 4033 is prime or not, right? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So can anybody list out what are the primality testing algorithms we have chosen, we have discussed? Just list out the algorithms what we have discussed earlier. What are the two algorithms that we have discussed under the deterministic algorithms?
Divisibility algorithm and AKS algorithm.
AKS, right. And what are the algorithms that we have discussed under this probabilistic concept?
Rabin-Miller algorithms.
Okay, one important algorithm that we have discussed is Rabin-Miller, right? And what is the second algorithm that we have discussed in today's session?
Recommended primality testing.
Okay, recommended primality testing. So we have gone through the example of this recommended primality testing with 4033. Can anybody tell me, is 4033 a prime number or composite number?
Prime number, sir.
Right, prime number. So is this particular 4033 satisfying this recommended primality test, or does it pass the recommended primality test or not? You have seen here, right? So in the divisibility test, it is giving the result as it is prime, and we are going to the Miller-Rabin test, and if I take the base value as 2, I am getting the 4033 as prime. Like that, these different algorithms are used to find out whether the given number is prime or not. Why we are discussing this concept of algorithms to test whether the given number is prime or not means, as I told that the asymmetric algorithms, asymmetric key cryptography algorithms, they make use of the mathematics concepts. They make use of the prime numbers concept. So we will discuss once we complete this primality testing and the factorization concept. We will discuss the concept of asymmetric key cryptography, and at that particular point you will come to know that asymmetric key cryptography exclusively depends on the concept of mathematics, right? So if you look at the symmetric key cryptography, they are used to convert the textual data into the ciphertext. But here what we are going to use is, we are going to convert the numbers into the ciphertext. So they make use of lot of mathematics. So we should know what a prime number is, we should know what a composite number is, we should check whether the given number is prime or not. So that is the reason why we are going deep into the discussions of the primality testing. Right. So this completes the concept of primality testing, and in the next coming session we are going to discuss the concept of factorization. So factorization is another important concept in the cryptography, and it has a number of research articles, right? We have lot of research that is going under this factorization, right? So lot of research is likely to continue in the future also. Why this factorization is important means, it plays very important role in the security of several public key crypto systems. We'll see what this public key is, and we'll see what this private key is. But for the time being, we'll discuss, or we'll confine our discussion on what this factorization is, how we are going to factorize the things, all these things, right? So this is how we have planned for the next session. We are going to discuss the concept of factorization, and this is the end of today's session. Thank you one and all for joining the session.